All right, we are back. Falcons, Chargers, defensive focus. I'm excited to break into this one. It's probably gonna be a bit of a longer video because we don't get a lot of good defensive performances. So when I finally get one, I kind of wanna hop deep into it and see what we got here. So right here, nothing too crazy. What we're gonna focus on is what Grady Jarrett ends up doing here, which he's coming up here and he slips beneath and he gets this backside pursuit towards the running back. You're also gonna see Eddie Goldman here, who does a really good job holding up at the point of attack and kind of playing both gaps. So he has here, and he does a really good job kind of staying disciplined, not getting moved one way or the other. And you're also going to see Nate Landman just does a really good job filling in here and kind of getting to the running back. And the running back's just kind of coming this way. He's going to see Goldman, so he's going to take this cutback lane, and due to the pressure from Grady and also Landman being in good position, we're able to get a nice tackle. So again, right here, Grady slips underneath right here. Eddie Goldman, look at the gap control. That is perfect. That is perfect gap control. Force him back inside. Again, Grady getting that backside pursuit block. Force him into the running back, making him stumble. Nate Landman's right here. Caden Ellis here. Eddie Goldman sheds his block and is right here. So it's a great job all across the defensive line and from the linebacking group to start this one. All right, next one here. We're going to see the Chargers, take advantage with the play action and get behind the, outstretched arm of one of our linebackers. Really good throw by Herbert to Ladd. Ladd had a tremendous game. Herbert had a pretty good game in terms of accuracy and delivering balls versus pressure. We get a forced fumble late into it, which is great effort. Unfortunately, we don't recover it, but let's go ahead and talk about what we're doing coverage-wise. So right here, we are locking this matchup. This is man coverage. No matter what, we are following where that guy goes. He ends up kind of running a go route, so it ends up working out, more like a traditional cover 3. Over here, we're kind of playing our cover 3 zone. Over here, we're playing our middle field zone, and then we're going to rotate Simmons kind of down to match this player to the flat. And then our linebackers here will kind of be playing their zone. They get sucked up a little bit by the play action. Not bad, but just, enough to move them a little bit. And then they try to get back. And they're just going to deliver a really nice ball over the outstretched arm of Caden Ellis. So again, right here, play action, sucks them in just a step. We get back. Right here, we get a little bit of pressure, but not enough to really actually bother Herbert. And again, he's throwing it here. Caden Ellis tries, just over his outstretched arm. It's a good throw. It's a throw quarterbacks will consistently make in the NFL. I'll also say that. So we really want him to get more depth. But they just attack the vacated area. Bates, misses the tackle here. But again, look at this effort coming over here, forcing the fumble. It's a good sign. Just don't get lucky with the recovery. But, it's a great effort play. Chargers just kind of get us here with the play action, getting over our linebackers. I think we can all acknowledge our linebackers are kind of a weak point in coverage with the exception of, Troy Anderson traditionally, and he's not exactly great at it, but he's not bad. So, they get us here, and, it's on to the next one. All right, next one here. Just a tremendous job from Grady Jarrett and Damon Harris really setting the edge, and then Simmons comes down and makes an awesome safety tackle. So, when we talk about gap control, and, what does that entail? So you're going to see Grady kind of head up this block. And you're going to see us get kind of a pressed edge where, we're still in position to come off this block and try to kind of make an arm tackle or collapse down. But the biggest thing is we just want to force this running back inside. We don't want to give up the edge. That's the last thing we want to do. We want to force him right here. So, we'll watch Grady and we'll kind of focus on the technique here of gap control. So right here, Grady can shed this way or he can shed this way. Harris, he's set the edge. He is forcing this player inside. And then he's in position to try to shed off of it and come back inside and make this tackle as well. Now you can see similar technique right here. That's really good technique as well. And then Simmons, obviously, is coming down, and he's reading the running back. So if the running back comes here, he's going to fill. He goes outside, match. So we'll kind of break this down slowly. So again, right here, he's inside. All right, running back's breaking outside. I'm breaking outside too. Grady Jarrett, we're talking about that shed technique. Harris, shedding. It's just a tremendous job in the run game, having gap control. That's one of the most important things as a run defender. Maintain your gap. Again, perfect form by Grady Jarrett. Right here. Sheds, already in position to force him outside. That lets your safety have a better angle, and he's able to come up and make a great tackle. So just a tremendous job in the run game on this one. All right, next one here. One of the 5 sacks the Falcons got on the day, and it's Caden Ellis just winning on a swim move against the running back in a one-on-one situation. Falcons kind of bailing out of the heavy pressure look, doing a tremendous job in coverage, navigating, some of what the Chargers are trying to do and creating confusion, especially with the stack formation towards AJ and Simmons' side. AJ does a good job kind of pointing out what they're trying to do. So we'll talk about it right here. So obviously, they're sending Ellis on the blitz and bailing out Ebiketie and Harris on the edges. But I want to kind of point out here, you can see AJ pointing. And what he's pointing is, hey, Simmons, this player is releasing inside. You need to get him. I'm going to get this player because he's releasing outside. So they're in the stack formation. The outside leverage receiver releases inside. So you got to be ready to pass these things off in an effective way, which they do. We also do a really good job here, kind of even on top of this fake screen. What they're trying to do is really fake block, get on the go route, but we're all over this thing. It has no chance to be good. No chance at all. We're all over it. So again, right here, fake screen. They're hoping that he's going to come down and Quentin Johnson will have a wide open kind of throw to the end zone. That's why they're keeping on it, but we're all over it. We're coming back to the middle, but guess what? We bailed our pass rusher out. So, in a traditional sense, if we hadn't bailed our pass rusher, then this throw over the middle is probably there. So again, you can watch Ebiketie here. He's going to bail to the middle. This route comes up and breaks inside. And, that was a terrible drawing, but, you'll get the idea. So again, right here, Ebiketie filling that middle window. This is the window he wants to throw it in. Herbert can't because Ebiketie's in the window. And then again, we get pressure from Kaden Ellis. We'll look at this from just the end zone view and just really focus on what we're doing in terms of pass rush. So again, 97 occupied. They're worried Ebiketie's going to come on the edge, so they're trying to account for these two players. So he's accounting for Ebiketie. He's accounting for Grady. And then the running back here is supposed to be one-on-one with Ellis. So they have this blocked up if we were to send everybody. But we don't send everybody, and we also win the one-on-one against the running back. So again, right in Herbert's face, no shot. Grady Jarrett wins the edge. It's a great sack. It's a great play from both the secondary and the front seven. All right, next one here. We're going to kind of, approach this from the Chargers' perspective. They do a really good job with the play action here, getting a nice throw off against good coverage by AJ. But, we always talk about what's the best way to beat man coverage. And the best way to beat man coverage is to simply run away from the leverage of the defender. So if your man coverage player, in this case AJ, is playing outside leverage, just run inside away from him, because at that point, you've out-leveraged him. Like you haven't won the route, but you're in position to, assuming you have, athleticism, speed, technique, all that stuff. So, we're also going to be sending Kaden Ellis here on a blitz, and then you're going to see Grady kind of win late into this one to get the pressure. But, let's just focus on the coverage here. So AJ's locked with Ladd. Ladd knows, as you can see, AJ's aligned outside leverage. So what Ladd's going to do is kind of release inside, just run away on this kind of crosser. And there's not really a ton AJ can do because the leverage isn't there. Now, AJ's in good position. Like, it requires a good throw to beat him. But if you have a good throw, there's not really a ton AJ can do. They're going to pair this kind of with this post route coming over here, running this post to clear out the safety, and then Quentin Johnson also running the go route. So this is kind of what they're running. They also end up leaking out the tight end and running back. The tight end gets a little bit loose because we're blitzing people, but it doesn't matter. They're not looking to target him. So again, play action. You can see Ladd starting his route, just running away from AJ. Top of his drop, Herbert's ready to throw. We get pressure in his face, but Herbert just throws a tremendous ball. AJ's in good position. If this is a little bit behind, AJ probably breaks it up. But this is why Herbert's so good, able to navigate pressure. He did this all day, especially with Ladd. So, this is one of those things, you just kind of get got. So, again, right here, Grady, staring down the barrel of Grady Jarrett, and you throw a ball like this, man. Look at that. Any farther back, AJ probably breaks that up. But it's perfectly thrown. They beat us in man coverage just by running away from the leverage of the defender. They get us here. It is what it is. All right, next one here, we're just going to point out a really good job from Kaden Ellis, kind of navigating the motion here, not getting too drawn up by the run action, and able to kind of stay parallel with the tight end type here and make a really good tackle, kind of for a minimal gain. Now, again, we're going to be looking at man coverage here. Again, often an indicator whenever you see motion. If they follow, then it's probably man coverage is what we do here. We kind of follow this guy on the wheel route. You're going to see press coverage here with this player kind of running that crosser type to occupy the safety and clear vacated space. You're going to see Ladd, where I really think the ball should go is Ladd. I think Herbert's probably kicking himself because Ladd pops wide open, natural leverage here against Phillips. And then where the ball actually goes is kind of this motion over here coming to the flat. And Kaden Ellis just does a really good job recognizing it and not getting fooled with the motion. Again, he sees him. All right, play action. I got to get on top of this guy. And he does a really good job kind of staying on his line. That's really good technique-wise. Stay on your line. Don't over-pursue like this because then he can get you with a stiff arm or shake and bake. But right here, perfect pursuit angle. Gets him out of bounds. It's maybe a yard gain, a 2-yard gain. So really good job just navigating the nonsense, the motion, not losing sight of what you're supposed to be doing. It's a great job in coverage. Again, I think Herbert's kicking himself because we can see Ladd's wide open right here. Wide open. But we also do a good job forcing Herbert into a quick decision because what do we have? We have Ebiketie right here, and he's coming down fast. When you come down fast on the quarterback, it forces the quarterback to make quick decisions. When they have to make quick decisions, they make mistakes. And right here, I think Herbert makes a bit of a mistake. I think he had time to try to fit this throw in there, but again, pressure in his face works out for us. We make a good tackle. It's a great play. All right, next one here, we're going to see the Chargers kind of go a little bit hurry-up mode on us, getting to the mesh concept, and we just absolutely smother it. We're kind of running quarters coverage here from what I can tell, and we're going to make that tricks call with Simmons, which basically leaves our corner outside one-on-one. And again, they're not running vertical, so it ends up not really mattering. Again, we get one-on-one with AJ. But what we're doing here when I say this kind of tricks call is they have 3 receivers to one side. So traditionally, when we're talking, running quarters, you have 1/4 of the field, 1/4 of the field. Your safety plays kind of this quarter of the field, and then you would traditionally see Simmons kind of over here playing his quarter. So you have 4 quarters. That's why it's called quarters. But since we're responding to this, kind of 3 formation, what you're going to see is Simmons here. He's going to get a little bit of depth, and then he's playing for any crossing routes that come over. And that basically leaves AJ over here, one-on-one backside. So whenever you make this tricks call, you're leaving your corner one-on-one backside. We're not exactly intimidated by the Chargers receivers in terms of, one-on-ones. So that's the call we make. And again, right here, they're running the mesh. We're in zone coverage. Mesh is traditionally more of a man beater in my eyes. The only kind of zone beater in mesh traditionally is this over-the-ball sit. Now, mind you, they're also taught against zone in mesh, you want to settle into spots. So that's why they all settle here. They're like, okay, it's zone coverage. I need to settle. But again, mesh just isn't that good against zone, so nothing's really open. Now, Herbert here could have thrown the over-the-ball sit, but you'll notice here, he wants to throw it right here. 5's not looking. So he would have had to throw this with anticipation, which I think he could have done, but he doesn't for whatever reason. And at this point, it's too late for him to throw it because Simmons is going to drive down on it. There's no window here to really get rid of the ball. Ebiketie wins with a late spin move, and we get a sack. It's awesome. It's great coverage. It's a great call. They're expecting man. We get the quarters. We trust our outside receivers. We make that tricks call. We're all over it. All right, next one, we're going to see the Falcons kind of get to Tampa 2 here with an extra zone defender just because, we're dropping 8 out of the 5-man front. We do a really good job holding up coverage-wise. We see Judon kind of booking it downfield, which is a bit funny to me. But Ebiketie also drops back out, and he makes a good play on the running back, makes a good tackle, kind of keeps this gain to a minimum. We're also there with AJ to make this tackle if we need to. But either way, we're going to talk about the coverage-wise and how it worked out for us. So, again, when we talk, cover 2, we're going to press here, and then we're going to bail out, and we're kind of just going to float here. And the goal is essentially to keep the window between the safety and the receiver as small as possible. You only want to come down if something actually draws you. You don't want to just sit covering grass, right? Cover receivers, not grass. So we do a good job kind of staying with this and keeping our eyes downfield to know if we need to break back. Same thing over here. AJ is going to kind of peel off. And then we have our 2 safeties. Caden Ellis here is that, what's the word? Tampa 2 defender, right? That seam defender, he's going to be booking it, kind of watching the number 3 right here, keeping an eye on him as he releases up. And then what we're going to see, which is kind of funny to me, is Judon just absolutely booking it all the way back here to try to occupy this window. And then Ebiketie here starts the rush, bails out, settles into his zone, and then he makes the tackle. So, bit of a funny look. Again, it's just funny seeing Judon booking it. I mean, look at him go. What a guy. But right here, we do a good job. Everything's covered. This is the only window potentially there. But again, we have it squeezed really well with the safety. So both of these windows are squeezed. At this point, Herbert makes the right choice, just take the check down. But we're in good position to make the tackle, keeping a minimum gain. And again, just look at Judon. Look at him booking. Keeping eyes right there. I also think Caden Ellis does a pretty good job as kind of that middle field defender in Tampa. Just running with the number 3 up the seam. So it's a great job. All right, next one, you're going to see the Falcons kind of giving up that underneath throw a little bit here. It's a great job from the Chargers here getting this throw off against, late pressure from Grady. It's also a throw we're clearly willing to give up. We're clearly playing for kind of the deep routes. Chargers are willing to take that. They're essentially just running 2 clear out routes down here. So he's going, and then where the ball's going to go is right up here. Give him a little inside move and break out and kind of run down this line. And Herbert does a really good job getting the ball off. We get late pressure from Grady. It just doesn't matter because Herbert's playing really on time and in rhythm here. And it's a beautiful quarterback play, honestly. Just Really, really nicely thrown ball. Again, they get kind of themselves to a manageable position for the field goal, for the first down, whatever they want to try here. Again, Grady is winning his rep here. He's in his face. He gets a little bit of a late hit. And it's perfectly thrown ball. Obviously, you'd like to hold up better in coverage, but, Ladd's turning into the Chargers #1, and they get a good matchup for what they like. So it's a great job from them, beating our man coverage, playing on time and rhythm. It's a good job from Grady. Winning late just didn't matter. All right, next one, you're going to see the Falcons defense do a really good job kind of in the quarters coverage, navigating what the Chargers are trying to do. I think Herbert probably should have just thrown his check down. He decides to try to get it with his feet. It's not a bad decision, I think, but Ebiketie does a really good job as backside pursuit, kind of bringing him down before he's able to kind of get a gain of a handful of yards. So it's a good job by Ebiketie making this a sack on the stat sheet, even if it's more of a, to me, it's more of a TFL, but it counts as a sack, so we take those because, you know what, we don't get enough sacks around here. So what are the Chargers doing? So they're going to be releasing their running back type up here, kind of on this go route. They're going to have this player coming up here, settling on a hitch. They're going to have this receiver down here running this crossing type route. And it's weird because he kind of gets in the window of this hitch route. I don't think he's supposed to be doing that. The tight end is clearly where Herbert wants to go, decides not to. And then you have this flat option here that comes out and kind of breaks open that I think Herbert, looking back, would probably want to throw. And then coverage-wise, what we're doing is just quarters with some underneath defenders. So we do a really good job navigating all this. Bringing it off the snap, you can see Herbert, his eyes instantly go to the tight end here. He should probably just throw it, but he doesn't. He sees Judon in the window, doesn't want to get his guy killed, decides, okay, I can run it here, make a decent gain. We do a really good job in backside pursuit by Ebiketie, just kind of get this sack on the stat sheet, don't give up on a play, because if we don't make that tackle there, I imagine Herbert probably gets 4 or 5 yards. So great effort. I love to see that. Effort sacks are a big thing for a lot of pass rushers, and it's a great job by the defense. All right, next one here. This is a fun one, man. The Chargers come out here with quad formation to the right, quad bunch, really, and then you have the isolated one-on-one to the bottom that's just man coverage that we are willing to match up in. And you're going to see Simmons here kind of play as that trick safety. I say tricks, I guess quads. I don't know what the proper terminology here is. Point is, he's hunting any crossing formations, and really Caden Ellis is the one who makes the play, but we're going to talk about what the Chargers are doing and what we're doing. So where the ball ends up going is kind of, I wouldn't call this a divide concept, because divide would be more of a vertical stem from both players. So as this is a corner kind of heading towards the end zone, a divide concept would be this player coming up, and opposed to taking this in like he does, going more towards the end zone vertically, kind of with a post route. So it's not really divide, but it plays out sort of looking a little bit like it. And then what we end up doing coverage wise is, again, we're in quarters coverage. So we have player here. We're locking this matchup down here, locked in. Wherever he goes, I go. And then you're going to see Simmons here. He's playing any crossing routes. So any crossing routes he's playing, and then we're going to navigate whoever releases over here with like the linebackers and the nickel type. So that's kind of how we're handling that. And we just do a really good job from Caden Ellis. Look at him. He's following it. So Caden Ellis, he's looking. He knows it's behind him. Does a great job shifting over, getting a hand on this thing. Really unlucky bounce. That could have gone right to Simmons. Just a little bit unlucky. Great play, a little bit unlucky with the bounce. So again, top of his drop, Herbert's right down the middle. Caden Ellis sees his eyes. He knows, okay, I got to fill this window. Gets a hand on it. Again, could have gone to Simmons. Unfortunate there. But it's a great job. It's great. It's fun formation and concept by the Chargers. I really like that. We just do a good job in coverage. We kind of have what we want there. So great defensive play. All right, next one here, we're going to see the Falcons come out with just cover one man. And really, I just want to focus more so on Ebiketie, because I think we can all tell, this is just a good opportunity of Bates driving down on the ball. But Ebiketie and Grady just do such a good job in terms of rushing the passer here with the stun action. Now, mind you, the guard kind of loses his mind because he puts his head down. You never want to put your head down in pass pro, because when you put your head down in pass pro, you can't see stuns or blitzers or people peeling off. So kind of a disaster by their guard here. But Grady comes in here, gets in his chest, gets him pushing back vertically, and now they want to pass this off, where essentially, once Ebiketie goes inside, this player wants to take over on Grady, and you would like this player to peel off and get Ebiketie. But since the guard puts his head down right here, can't see nothing. Can't see anything. Now, mind you, Grady's also just winning the rep, so he kind of has to, because if he lets go, I imagine Grady's has a path to Herbert anyways. But anyways, it works out great. Ebiketie forces the early throw. Bates gets in here, forces the pass breakup. It's a great defensive play. All right, the Falcons here are going to get to cover one robber safety, kind of coming up to play any of those kind of crossing routes coming on here, and then you're going to see AJ doing a great job driving down to help break up this ball to Quentin Johnston. Now, mind you, Quentin Johnston doesn't have the best hands, so it's a little bit of a drop from him as well, but obviously AJ helps with the process. Ebiketie also does a tremendous job getting pressure here. So again, man coverage, locked in, locked in, locked in, and the ball ends up going here to AJ. Ebiketie right here does an awesome job with this spin move. So right here, spin move, he's in Herbert's face, gets a hand up, forces a throw. Now Herbert throws an absolute dot. Like that should be caught. But AJ gets a hand in there, helps break it up. So better defense against good offense. So, this is just a tremendous job. Again, Ebiketie, bit of a breakout game in terms of pressure and, getting a couple sacks. I think, he's been our best edge rusher. Not that that's a very high bar in this defense, but he's probably been it. And it was nice to see him kind of have a big game. All right, next one here. Once again, you're going to see the Falcons secondary just holding up in coverage. And again, when you hold up in coverage, you give yourself opportunities for late sacks. So a lot of these sacks, I think were coverage sacks really this game. I think, the secondary did a tremendous job holding up right here. See big 93 coming on, getting the big sack, late into the down. But again, we just hold up and man. So again, right here, we're locked in. We're locked in. Press man. We're locked in here. And then, you have your safety help over the top. So, again, it's just suffocating defense right here. And now, again, you also see the linebackers picking up the running back, taking away the check down, all over it. There is no option to go with the football. So when there's no option to go with the football, what do you get? You get sacks. So, again, Chargers don't have the most impressive receiving core. When your best receiver is a rookie, kind of speaks for itself. Not that, Lad's, I love Lad. He's really fun. He was someone I wanted the Falcons to draft, but at the end of the day, he is a rookie, and he's their best receiver. So I like coming out here with the plan to be aggressive in man coverage. Don't respect their pass catchers. We didn't respect them all day. They only really burnt us once or twice. So, in terms of that, it really worked out for us. All right, another play, another rep in man coverage. We're going to kind of focus more on the pass rush technique and also, what I think Judon does here, which is really fun, is he presses the slot receiver, gives time for his defensive back to kind of work over the face of him and pick him up in coverage. And then obviously Grady gets tremendous pressure here. And then Judon, after he presses the slot corner and kind of slot receiver and helps his corner, he comes down and really forces Herbert into a tough throw, where I think if Herbert had more time to sit there and set, he probably is able to make a tremendous play. But again, they motion. We kind of shift our formation a little bit. We're matching up here in press man. And again, just watch Judon. He comes here. He presses this guy right there. Corner works over. And you have Simmons here actually matching up with this player. And then this matchup here is locked. So it's a great job there, just navigating that whole situation. I like the wrinkle there. Obviously, coverage-wise, everybody's suffocated right here. Grady's getting pressure on Herbert too. Now, he spins out. Now, right here, if Judon doesn't make the instant choice to just rip it downfield at Herbert, I guarantee you Herbert hits this player. Guarantee it. No chance Herbert misses that throw. But we do a great job attacking downfield, forcing the miss. Not a sack, but it is an incompletion on a big play. Late into this one, again, the defense played tremendous all game. It's really a shame we weren't able to take advantage and win. But it is what it is. So great job from Simmons there on both fronts. All right, last one of the day, we're going to kind of focus on the technique of the topside corner, who I just think does a really good job stressing both these routes. And really, if Herbert had decided to throw this one to the corner, I think our defensive back was in a really good position to still stress that throw and potentially get a pick. So that's probably what my main focus is going to be on, right? Obviously, we get a sack here. It's great. Obviously, the coverage across the board holds up. But I just want to focus more on the technique that we see up topside. So right here, I want to focus on this player. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to run this kind of corner route behind him, and they're going to try to stress him with an underneath flat. And whatever decision this guy makes, you pretty much throw the opposite. But he does such a good job staying in position. So right here, Herbert's reading him now. He just turned his head. He's reading this player. So obviously, he takes a step down to kind of get on top of this flat route. But what I want to focus on here is how quickly he's able to flip his hips and start working back. Where if Herbert had decided to throw this he would have had to been absolutely perfect route wise because this corner, look, he turns his hip. If Herbert decided to throw that, he was in perfect position to kind of chase it down and stress that underneath window. So I think that's just tremendous technique from the corner. I think that's really understanding what the offense is trying to do to you and not letting them do it. So awesome job from him. Obviously, Herbert decides to scramble. He doesn't take the check down either. Obviously, because he sees that step the corner takes, decides, you know what, okay, I'm just gonna, I don't like what I'm seeing. It's murky. I'm gonna scramble. I'm gonna try to get a first down, and we get a big sack. So sucks not to win this one, guys. It really does. It's kind of a real bummer. Hopefully, this is a sign of things to come. I think if our secondary, they're going to have a much tougher challenge next week against the Vikings, both in terms of, how they stress you vertically and also in terms of their just receiving weapons are much better than the Chargers. Now, I think their quarterback play is worse for what that's worth, but in terms of their receivers, they're much more threatening. So, yeah, that's the end of this one. Tough L to take. The Falcons need to get back on track, back at 500 divisions. We're still in play. Obviously, we have the tiebreaker over Tampa, but things are more stressful than they were 3 weeks ago. So we'll see what happens going forward. Always fun to break back into the defense, kind of see what happens here. I think my main takeaway is we just played a lot of man coverage and we dared the Chargers to beat us. And while they didn't really beat our defense. They beat our offense. So great job on the day. Great performance coming out of the bye for a defense that was struggling, and we'll see what happens moving forward.